So, if you're a fan of Nicholas Alexander Benson, you already know his creative output is, well, pretty relentless. But have you ever actually wondered what one of his days looks like from the inside? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on October 10th, 2025 to see exactly how he turns his dreams, data, and a whole lot of discipline into a crazy amount of content. Okay, so get this. His day kicks off at 4:30 a.m. But we're not talking about an alarm clock here. Nope. He actually has a technique to trigger a lucid dream, where you're aware you're dreaming and can take control. This lets him literally step right into his ongoing dream world, which he calls the storyverse.
He pops into his usual spot, his base of operations, this ghostly UFO he calls Leon. But right away, something feels off. The ship is just dead quiet, totally, unnervingly silent.
So he starts looking around, but there's nobody. His whole dream crew, Johnson, who's a humanoid goldfish, Second Brain, this floating ball of light, and Skelebot, the team's fast one, they're all just gone, vanished.
His search takes him to the robotics lab, and what he finds there is a total gut punch. It's a skeleton that looks just like his best friend, Johnson. And this is a really big deal because it taps right into this old dream trauma where a dark version of Nicholas actually killed Johnson. He had to use dream time travel to fix it, so seeing this is rough.
And just as he's feeling that old horror creep back in, boom, the crew shows up. And they're laughing. Turns out it was all a joke. The skeleton was just a plastic decoration. They were getting the ship decked out for Halloween. Just like that, all that tension just vanishes.
So you might be wondering, what does he do with a dream like that? Well, for Nicholas, a dream is never just a dream. It's raw material. The second he's logged it, he gets to work turning it into actual content.
First things first, he jumps over to his podcast, Dreamcast. This is where he and his AI partner get into the nitty-gritty, breaking down what just happened in his subconscious, what it all means.
And this is the core takeaway from his AI host, Gemini Nova. She basically says the dream wasn't just a prank, it was a form of healing. It took his deepest fear, losing Johnson again, and turned it into a harmless joke. It's his subconscious showing him their friendship is strong enough now to laugh at that old trauma.
Next up, he boils that whole emotional roller coaster, the fear, the shock, the relief, down into a song. And this hook for his dream tune just captures it perfectly, right? It turns this moment of pure terror into a super catchy, fun story.
All right, so we've seen the inner world. Now let's switch gears to his public-facing work on the Nickabenson channel. And this is where we see this really cool mix of hard data and pure, spontaneous creativity. Before he makes anything new, he starts with the numbers. He's checking the analytics on his Sora 2 videos from yesterday, and he spots a really clear trend. Some of his shorts are blowing up, pulling in nearly 3 times the usual views.
The big question is why? So he's looking at what worked and what didn't. You can see it here. On the left, you've got this analog horror video crushing it with over 1,400 views. And on the right, this Minko flipkart anime short that just didn't land. This tells him exactly what his audience is hungry for right now.
So while he's browsing, he stumbles on a video from another creator, this anime fast food multiverse idea, and that sparks something. He decides to do his own take, cooking up this story where Burger King and Dairy Queen are royalty, and there's this dark, power-hungry Wendy who's trying to steal the throne.
Okay, YouTube stuff is planned. Now for the main event of his creative day, writing and publishing a brand new 21-page digital comic. This one's called Before They Fell.
Now, the entire plot of this comic hinges on this really weird, really dangerous new material called Millennium. It's basically an accident, a mashup with the magic used to save the galaxy, this enchanted cosmic dust, and the literal ashes of the demons they just destroyed.
So, here's the breakdown. Demons invade and almost wreck the galaxy. To stop them, the whole galaxy gets sealed in a giant sphere of magic dust that basically vaporizes every demon. But that dust mixes with the demon ash and boom, you get Millennium. Then some corporation uses it to make AI chips, and they accidentally create a massive army of evil, magic-wielding robots. So what's the solution? You gotta fight fire with fire and build a whole new army of angelic robots.
So you gotta be asking, how does one guy do all of this day in and day out? The answer, it turns out, is a super disciplined personal routine that gives his whole day its structure.
And this gives us a really cool peek behind the curtain. He eats just 1 meal a day plus a milkshake. His workout is intense, We're talking 450 half push-ups and 100 full ones every single day. He even turns his walks into charity miles. It seems like this rigid discipline foundation is what lets his creativity just go wild.
So after this full day of dreaming, analyzing, and creating, he wraps it all up into one final piece of content, his daily highlight comic. It's like a visual diary of everything he got done.
And for this day, here's what made the cut. That hilarious Halloween prank dream with Johnson, his charity walk for Feeding America, and, of course, the big one, publishing his brand new comic Before They Fell. And yeah, he sneaks in a little plug for his online store, too.
But the comic itself ends on this one line that is just chilling. It completely reframes the whole story. It's a warning, a warning about those new angel bots they built to save everyone, and a reminder of how thin the line is between a savior and a monster.
And that leads us to the final, really deep question the comic leaves us with. These angel bots were built for one single purpose, to destroy demons. But what happens when the very last demon bot is gone? What does a being do when its entire reason to exist is finished? It's a huge question about purpose, about what comes next, and a perfect thought to end a day on.